Hi everyone, today we're going to study ratio. First, let us define ratio. A ratio compares two numbers or quantities expressed in the same unit. The ratio of A to B is written as, there are three ways that we can write this. The first one is this, A to B. The second is a fraction that we can write the A over B. And the third one, there is a colon in between. So this is A colon B, or this is read as A is to B. Let us see some example problems. Let's have this example 1. Write the ratio 15:27 as a fraction. So for our solution, the 15 corresponds to the A, the 27 for the B. We can write the 15 as the numerator and the 27 as the denominator. So this is now the fraction. However, fraction must be reduced to lowest term at all times. So what we'll do, we will factor out both numerator and denominator. And let us see if we can cancel the greatest common factor. So the 15 is factored out into 3 times 5. The 27 is factored out into 3 times 9. And the 3 is common to the numerator and denominator, that we can cancel the number 3. And what remains is the 5 over 9. So the 15:27 as ratio is now expressed as a fraction into 5 over 9. Example 2. Divide the amount $18 between Ahmed and Salim in the ratio 1:2. The arrangement of the name of Ahmed and Salim correspond to the ratio itself. It means Ahmed's name comes first, so the 1 corresponds to Ahmed. So the number 2 in this ratio corresponds for Salim. Now let us compute for Ahmed's share. First, we're going to copy this $18. We will list it here and then multiply by a fraction. So that number 1 in the ratio is placed as the numerator, and in the denominator we will get the sum of the ratio. So this is how we will solve it. Next, we will simplify. We are now to multiply this 18 to that numerator 1, and then we're going to get the sum of these numbers 1 plus 2. So 18 times 1 becomes 18, and then 1 plus 2 equals 3. Then we will simplify 18 over 3 is equal to 6. Or we may write $6. So $6 is Ahmed's share for that $18. Let's now compute for Salim's share. That number 2 in the ratio corresponds for Salim's share, so we will put it in the numerator here, all over the sum of ratio in the denominator. Of course, we will write the $18 here. And then we will simplify. The 18 we will multiply to number 2. And then this 1 plus 2 becomes 3. So this is 36 over 3 is equal to 12. Or we may write the $12. So $12 is the share of Salim out of that $18. So please note for our checking that if we're going to add the numbers here, the $12 plus $6 equals $18, which is the total amount in the problem. Let's have example 3, and this is a special case because in the ratio there are 3 numbers. So let us read the problem first. The farmer bought 60 kilograms of animal feeds to be distributed to cows, goats, and sheep in the ratio 2:3:5. How many kilograms of feeds does each group of animals receive? The way the groups of animals are listed here correspond to the ratio. It means to the cows, it is listed first, so it corresponds to the number 2 in the ratio. The goats are in the middle, so the number 3 is for the goats. And the last is the sheep, so the number 5 corresponds to the sheep. So first, let us compute for the cows' share. So that is the first group in the list. So at first, we're going to copy the 60, the total, we put here. Then we will multiply by a fraction. In the numerator, we will copy the number that corresponds to the cows. So that is number 2. We copy in the numerator, and in the denominator, we will take the sum of the ratio 2 plus 3 plus 5. And then we will simplify. The next step will be this 60. We will multiply to number 2, and then in the denominator, we will take the sum. As we see here, it is 120 coming from 60 times 2, and then the 10 comes from taking the sum of the numbers in the denominator. Then we will divide. 120 divided by 10, we will get 12, or 12 kilograms of feeds. This is for the cows. So let's put it aside here. We will now compute for the goat's share. So again, we will copy the total number of kilograms as 60. Then we will multiply by a fraction. And then that number 3 that corresponds to the goats, we will put as numerator. And in the denominator, we will take the sum of the ratio. And then we will simplify. We will multiply the 60 by 3. We will get the 180 divided by the sum of these numbers is 10. And then we will divide. 180 divided by 10, we will get 18, or we can say 18 kg of feeds. That is for the goats. Next, we will compute for the sheep's share. So the total 60 kg we will copy here. Then we will multiply by a fraction. In the numerator, we will take that number 5 that corresponds for the sheep. We will put here. And then in the denominator, we will take the sum of ratio. Then we will simplify. We will multiply the 60 by 5. We will get the 300 all over. The sum of these numbers is 10. So we will divide 300 by 10 is equal to 30, or 30 kilograms of feeds. So as we see here, the cow share is 12 kg, goat share is 18 kg, and the sheep share is 30 kg. So take note, if we're going to take the sum of all these numbers, the total is 60 kg, and this 60 kg is the same number that is given as the total in the problem.
Example 4. A picnic is being planned in a school for class 7. Girls are 60% of the total number of students and are 18 in number. What is the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys in the class? We let X to be the total number of students. The problem says 60% of the total, which is 60% of X, are girls. And the number is 18. To put this in an equation, we can write 60% times x equals 18. We can show this as fraction. So we have 60 over 100 times x equals 18. Let us solve for x. This 100 we cross multiply to the 18 and we divide the product by the 60. So x equals 18 times 100 all over 60. The numerator now is 1,800 divided by 60, x equals 30. And this 30 is the total number of students. This 30 as total students, we have in the beginning 18 girls. When we subtract, there will be 12 boys. Now the ratio of girls to boys. Let's take the numbers, 18 for girls, 12 for boys. So that is 18 is to 12. We can write this as a fraction. So we have 18 over 12. Then we reduce this to lowest term. Divide by 6 the numerator and denominator, and this fraction becomes 3 over 2. Then we return back to the ratio form. So we have 3 is to 2. This is the answer. Hi everyone. Today we're going to study percent. The word percent means per 100. It is represented by this symbol. Let's have example. This is 0%. The word per 100 here means we can write this as a fraction. The 0 over 100. And this expression, this fraction, we can simplify, of course, by 0. Next example, 25%. So, 25 per 100. So we can write 25 over 100. And this fraction we can reduce to 1/4. It means 25% is equal to 1/4 in fraction. Another example, 50%. In fraction, we can show this as 50 over 100. Then we reduce the lowest term, 1/2. So 50% means 1/2. Next example, 100%. This 100% is equal in fraction as 100 over 100. And we can simplify this as 1. So 100% is equal to 1 as a whole number. Example 1. A cake is eaten up to 70%. How much percent of the cake is left? The whole cake equals 100%. The problem says it is 70% eaten. And in the problem, we want to know the percent of the leftover. So we have 100% minus 70%. And the answer is 30%. Example 2. A picnic is being planned in a school. The picnic site is 55 kilometers from the school. Question A. If their first stop is at a place 22 kilometers from the school, what percent of the total distance of 55 kilometers is this? Let's show in a fraction the distance covered over total distance. 22 kilometers for the distance covered over 55 kilometers as a total distance. When we simplify this fraction, we can show that 22 is 2 times 11, while 55 is 5 times 11. Then we can cancel 11 and 11. Finally, 2 over 5. Then let us convert the 2 over 5 as a percent. Let's multiply this by 100 over 100. Let's multiply 2 by 100, while in the denominator, let's put together 5 times 100. So the numerator becomes 200 over 5 times 100. Let's factor out 200 into 5 times 40 so that we can cancel the 5 and the 5. And this is now 40 over 100. Look at our denominator. It is 100. Therefore, this 40 we can now show as percent, and that is 40%. This 40% is related to the 22 kilometers with regard to the total of 55 kilometers. Now let's answer letter B. What percent of the distance is left to be covered? The total distance equals 100%. So, the total distance minus the distance covered equals the distance left. So, 100% minus this 40% equals 60%. This is the answer for letter B.
First, let us define percentage. Percentage is the result when a number, that is called base, is multiplied with a percent, and that percent is called rate. In mathematical equation, the percentage equals base times rate. In symbol, we can write P equals B times R. To illustrate, I have here a circle that represents the base. Suppose I'm going to cut a piece of this circle, and that small piece is what we call the percentage. The rate describes the ratio or the relationship in numbers of this percentage and base. With this formula, it is helpful if we have this triangular formula also. So the P is here on top with the B and the R at the bottom. Suppose we want to get the value of P. If I'm going to cover this P with my hand, I will see the B and R only, and as you see there, the B and R is placed together, so it is to be multiplied. Problems that come in this topic is like, for these three terms, for these three variables, percentage, base, and rate, only two of them will come in the problem, and the other variable is to be found. The other quantity is required. In some problems, the P and the R are given and the B is required. So in that case, we will cover this B with our hand and we will see the formula P over R. On the other hand, some problems may come that the P and the B are given and the R is required. In that case, we can use our hand to cover this R, and the formula will be seen immediately, P over B. So let us consider some of the problems. Example 1. For finding the percentage, problems will come to you like this. What is 25% of 200? First, let us list the given. The immediate given that we can write is the rate because the percent sign of the number 25. So the rate is equal to the 25%, and the 25% can be written as 25 over 100. That is the equivalent of this 25% into fraction. Next is the base. So this 200 here is our base. Of course, what is required here is the percentage. A while ago, we have this triangular formula here. The P is on top, B and R at the bottom. So we need the P. What I will do is simply cover that P, and this B and R will be my formula. So here, B times R. And then I will now substitute the values. The B is 200. The R, I will now use this 25 over 100. For some cases, or for most cases, the value here, the base, is multiplied to the numerator. And then the result will be divided by this 100. But since in here, it is easier if we cancel the 200 and the 100. So if we cancel that, the 200 becomes 2, the 100 becomes 1. So the problem now becomes 2 times 25 over 1. So we just multiply the 2 and the 25. It gives us 50 over 1. And the denominator 1, we will not copy anymore. So this is our answer. This is 50. It means 25% of 200 is 50. Let's have example 2. This time it is finding the base. The problem is 25 is 5% of what number? So let us collect the given. Again, the immediate value that we can write is the rate because of the percent sign. So that is 5%, and it is equal to 5 over 100. And this 25 here, that is the percentage. And that is written here, percentage equals 25. So now, we want to get the base. Triangle formula here will help us give the immediate formula for the base. Look at letter B here. I'm going to cover that with my hand, and the P over R will come. So the P and R is our formula here. Then we will substitute the values. The P is 25. The R is that 5 over 100. So simplifying this, the 5 over 100 comes up, it flips up, the 100 becomes the numerator, The 5 is our denominator. So here, in most cases, we multiply this 25 to the 100, and the result will be divided by 5. But if we can simplify by cancellation this 25 by the number down here, which is 5, that is better. So if we cancel 25 and 5, the 25 becomes 5, the 5 becomes 1. And then we can now multiply the 5 with the 100, and it will result to 500. The denominator 1, we can delete it. So the final answer is 500. It means 25 is 5% of this number 500. Let's go now to example 3, and that is finding the rate. Question will come to you like this. What part of 500 is 25? First, let us list the given. The base is 500. The percentage is 25. So we are going to find the R, the rate. Going to our triangle formula, the R is here. So if I'm going to cover the R, I will get my formula immediately, and that is the P over B. So in here, we'll just substitute the values of P and B respectively. So that is 25 over 500. We know that R is expressed in percent, so we will convert this fraction into percent. We will simply multiply it by 100, and later on we will affix the percent sign. Multiplying by 100, we can cancel this 100 and 500, and then the simplified form will be 25 over 5, and that is equal to 5%. So the percent sign is now affixed. So 25 is 5% of this 500. Let's go to example number 4, and this is an application problem, finding the discount. Let us read the problem. In a department store, a branded pants is listed at $100 with 25% discount rate. How much is the discount? How much is the net price? In business, we need to understand some terms. The first is the list price. Symbol is LP. And this list price is the original price of the item. In this case, the list price corresponds to the base. The next is discount, symbolized by D. It is the amount deducted from the list price. In this case, discount corresponds to the percentage. The discount rate, or the R, it is the rate expressed in percent. And the last is the net price, or NP. This is the amount paid after discount. Let's go back to our problem. First, let us collect the given. The list price is this, $100. That is the list price, or the base. The discount rate is the R, that is the 25%, where we can express this as a fraction, 25 over 100. So we need the percentage, and that is the discount. With our triangle formula here, the P is on top. If I'm going to cover that with my hand, I will get my formula easily. The B and R multiplied together. So substituting the values, the base is 100, the R, we will use this 25 over 100. Then we cancel 100 and 100. So the final answer or the discount is the 25. So the discount is $25. So let us compute for the net price. This is our formula. Net price is equal to the list price minus discount. So the list price is $100. The discount is $25. So the net price is $75.
Example 5. An item marked at $840 is sold for $714. What is the discount and discount rate? First, let us solve the discount. Based on the given, the formula is marked price minus sale price. The marked price is this $840, while the sale price is the $714. When we substitute, it becomes $840 minus $714, and the difference is $126. This is the discount. Now for the discount rate. This is the formula. Discount divided by marked price times 100. The discount is this 126 and the marked price is our $840. When we substitute, it becomes like this: 126 over 840 times 100. When we simplify, the number becomes 15. Then we attach the percent sign. So the discount rate is 15%. Hi everyone, today we're going to study finding the increase or decrease percent. We often come across such information in our daily life as 25% off on marked prices or a 10% hike in the price of petrol. In this video, let us find the increase or decrease percent of a particular commodity. Let's have example 1. The price of a scooter was 34,000 rupees last year. It has increased by 20% this year. What is the price now? The increase in price is stated in our problem, that is 20% of 34,000. That means we're going to multiply 20% by the 34,000. In here we can show 20% as a fraction, that is 20 over 100, then times 34,000. We can simplify this expression and the answer is 6,800 rupees. This is the increase in price. So for the new price, the formula is old price plus the increase. Old price is the 34,000 plus the increase of 6,800. And the sum or the new price is 40,800 rupees. There is another method where the old price is considered to be 100% and in the problem the increase is 20%. Now for the new price, this is equal to the sum of 100% plus 20% of the old price. So we have here 120% of 34,000 rupees. And this expression means we're going to multiply 120% by 34,000. Then let us show this percent to be over 100. So 120 over 100 times 34,000. Then we can simplify this into 40,800 in rupees. We can see that the answer here is the same with the first method. Example 2. The price of a scooter was 34,000 rupees. To increase the sale, the price is reduced by 5%. What is the price now? In here, we can use the second method, whereas the old price is considered to be 100%, and the decrease is 5%. That means, for the new price, this is equal to the difference of 100% then minus 5% of the old price. So this is 95% times the 34%. Then we show this 95% as a fraction, 95 over 100. Finally, the answer is 32,300 rupees. This is the new price. Hi everyone! Today we're going to study estimation in percentages. Estimation of percentage of a particular item, we can use these two ideas. First is, we do rounding off of the given value. Second, we can take 10% of the value. We know that we have a shortcut method for this. 10% of the value means we simply move the decimal point one place to the left of the given value. Let's see examples. Example 1. Your bill in a shop is $577.80 and the shopkeeper gives a discount of 15%. Estimate the amount to be paid. Let's round off this 577.80 to nearest tens. Then we have 580. Let us now take 10% of 580. We're going to move the decimal point one place to the left. This 580, the decimal point is after 0. Moving the decimal point one place to the left, we will get 58. This is the 10% of 580. In our problem here, we need the 15% discount. So, let's consider the 5%, which is half the value of this 58. So, we divide this by 2. The answer is 29. So, this is the 5% of 580. Now, the 15%. This is the sum of 10% and 5%. So, we add 58 by 29. So, we have $87. This is the discount. Approximately, we can say $85. Now, the estimated amount, this 580 minus 85. And we have $495. This is the answer. Example 2. Estimate 20% of 347. We round off this 347 to nearest tens. So we have 350. Now we take 10% of 350. we move the decimal point one place to the left. The decimal point after 0, we move one place to the left, then we get 35. So this is the 10% of 350. What about the 20%? That means we need to double the 10%. And this is equal to double the 35, so that will be 70. 20% of 347 is around 70, but not more than 70. This is the answer. Hi everyone, today we're going to study overhead charges. When an item is bought, some additional expenses are made while buying or before selling it. This may include expenses like amount spent on repairs, labor charges, transportation, etc. These expenses have to be included in the cost price. These expenses are sometimes referred to as overhead charges. Example 1. Sohan bought a second-hand refrigerator for 2,500 rupees, then spent 500 rupees on its repairs and sold it for 3,300 rupees. Find his loss or gain percent. The cost price or CP, that is the list price plus overhead charges. In our problem, the list price is 2,500 plus the overhead charges, in this case for repairs, that is 500, and the sum is 3,000. This is now the cost price or CP. In the problem, the sold price or the SP is given as 3,300. Now we can see that the SP or the sold price is more than the CP. That means we will get a profit. So we will compute this by the 3,300, the sold price, minus the 3,000, which is the cost price. And the answer is 300. This is the profit. Or sometimes this is called gain. So let's compute for the gain percent, and this is the formula. Profit over cost price times 100. Then we affix percent sign. So when we substitute the values, we have 300 over 3,000 times 100. And the answer is 10%. Example 2. A shopkeeper purchased 200 bulbs for 10 rupees each. However, 5 bulbs were fused and had to be thrown away. The remaining were sold at 12 rupees each. Find the gain or loss percent. The cost price of 200 bulbs, this is 200 times 10. So the cost price is 2,000. 5 bulbs were fused as per the problem. So this will be thrown away. That means the number of bulbs left is 200 minus 5. So that will be 195. Now the sold price of this 195 sold at 12 rupees each. We have 195 times 12. And the answer is 2,340. We can see that the sold price is more than the cost price. That means we will get a profit. To compute this, we compute the difference of 2,340 minus 2,000. And the answer is 340. This is the profit or gain. That means we will compute for the gain percent. And this is our formula. Let us substitute the corresponding values. The profit is 340 over the cost price of 2,000 times 100. After we simplify, we affix the percent sign. And the answer is 17%. Example 3. Minu bought 2 fans for 1,200 rupees each. She sold one at a loss of 5% and the other at a profit of 10%. Find the selling price of each. Also, find out the total profit or loss. The overall cost price of each pan equals 1,200. The total cost price for 2 fans equals 2,400. Now, letter A, 1 fan is sold at a loss of 5%. That means the selling price is 100% minus the 5% loss times the 1,200. So we have here 95% times 1,200. We can show this 95% as a fraction. 95 over 100 times 1,200. We can simplify this as 1,140. This is the price of the fund at a loss of 5%. Letter B, the second fund is sold at a profit of 10%. That means the selling price equals 100% plus 10%, then multiplied by 1,200. The sum here is 110% times 1,200. And this value we show as a fraction. 110 over 100 times 1,200. And we simplify this as 1,320. Therefore, the total selling price equals, we add the two values, 1,140 plus 1,320. And the sum is 2,460. We can see that the total SP, the 2,460, is more than the total CP. And this is the 2,400. That means we will get a profit. And the profit, we subtract the total SP by the total CP. So we have 2,460 minus 2,400. And the answer is 60 rupees. This is the profit. Hi everyone, today we're going to study sales tax or value added tax. Sales tax, abbreviated as ST, is an amount which we pay when we buy items. This sales tax is charged by the government on the sale of an item. It is collected by the shopkeeper from the customer and given to the government. This is, therefore, always on the selling price of an item and is added to the value of the bill. Sales tax is also known as value added tax or VAT. Example 1. The cost of a pair of roller skates at a shop is 450 rupees. The sales tax charge is 5%. Find the bill amount. The sales tax is given here as 5%, that is of the 450 rupees. So this 5% let us show as a fraction. So this is 5 over 100 times 450. We can simplify this into 22.50, and this is the sales tax in rupees. So the bill amount equals cost of item plus sales tax. Let us substitute the values. Cost of item is 450 plus the sales tax of 22.50. And the total is 472.50 rupees. Example 2. Wahida bought an air cooler for 3,300 rupees, including a tax of 10%. Find the price of the air cooler before VAT was added. Remember that we have this formula that the sale price equals the sum of 100% plus the tax percent, then multiply by the actual price. The tax percent is 10%, then we add 100% and 10%, it becomes 110%. Now let us substitute the values for the sale price. Also, let us show this 110% as a fraction. So we have 3,300 equals 110 over 100 times the actual price. The problem requires us to know the actual price before the VAT. So we're going to transpose this fraction on the other side to be multiplied with the 3,300. But we're going to take the reciprocal value. So that means 3,300 times 100 over 110. This is the actual price. When we simplify this, we will get 3,000 rupees.
Hi everyone. Today we're going to study compound interest. First, let us recall the simple interest is charged when the lending period is short and often less than a year. Now let us define compound interest. When the money is loaned or borrowed for a longer time period, the interest is paid or charged not only on the principal but also on the past interest. And we say the interest is compounded. And that is why we call it compound interest. Banks often compound interest more than one time a year. Consider a bank that pays 8% interest but compounds it 4 times a year or quarterly. This means that every quarter the bank will pay an interest equal to 1/4 of 8% or 2%. Therefore, if we invest a lump sum amount of principal P at an interest rate R, compounded n times a year. Then after t years, the final amount, denoted by capital A, is given by this formula, that A equals P times the quantity 1 plus the fraction R over N, and this quantity is raised to a power that is a product of N times T. Here is a note that there are words that denote n number of times interest is compounded. First is yearly or annually, and that is n equals 1. For half yearly or semi-annually, the n equals 2. Quarterly means n equals 4. Monthly means n equals 12. And the last is daily, where n equals 365. Let us see this example 1. If $3,500 is invested at 9% compounded monthly, what will the future value be in 4 years? First, let us write our formula, and it's now written here. And then let us collect the given values of the problem. First is the principal P, and that is the $3,500, followed by the rate denoted by R, and that is 9%. And this percent we will convert into decimal. First, we will put this number 9 over 100. We drop the percent sign, of course. And then the quotient 9 over 100 is 0.09. Then the number of times the interest is compounded, it's written here monthly. So we will write n equals 12. Next is the time, denoted by T, and that is 4 years. So in this problem, we want to get the future value using this formula. Let us copy again this formula here, and then let us do the substitution. A equals the P is now changed into 3,500. 1 is a constant, we will copy that. Then plus the fraction R over N. The R now becomes 0.09 over the N, and we change N into 12. The exponent, and that is a product, N times T. Our N is 12 and T is 4. Let us simplify further. First, let us get the product of 12 and 4, and we will get 48. Next is, let us simplify this fraction, 0.09 over 12, and we will get this 0.0075. And then we will add 1 plus this decimal, and that is now 1.0075. Using our calculator, let us simplify this expression, this 1.0075 raised to power 48, and the value is 1.48 431,405. We will multiply this decimal into 3,500 and our answer is 5,009.92. This is the A. This is the future value in 4 years. We will not forget our dollar sign, that is our unit of the money, and this is now our final answer. Let us see example 2. How much should be invested in an account paying 9% compounded daily for it to accumulate to $5,000 in 5 years? Now, let us first write the given, starting with the rate, and it says 9%. Let us convert this 9% into decimal. Of course, that is 9 over 100, and this value equals 0.09. Next is the number of times the interest is compounded, and it is written here daily. It means the value of n is 365. Next is the future value, and that is the $5,000. And then the time denoted by T, that is 5 years. In this problem, we need to get the principal or P. We will use the same formula, and then let us do now the substitution. The A becomes 5,000 equals P, that is what we want, we will copy it here. 1 is a constant, we will copy that, plus R over N. Our R is the 0.09 over N, that is 365. And this value is raised to an exponent, and that is the product NT. N is 365 while T is 5. First, let us simplify by taking the product of the exponent, 365 times 5. We will get 1,825. And then, let us simplify this fraction, 0.09 over 365. And the value is 0.00024657. Let us add this decimal with this constant 1. We will get 1.00024657. And this decimal must be raised to that exponent 1,825. And the simplified value is 1.56821. We want to get letter P, so let us divide this equation by the coefficient of P, and that is this 1.56821. Now, the left side 5,000 will be divided by 1.56821, and it will be like this. And this is equal to the right side. That decimal will be cancelled out, only P comes down. The quotient of this value is now equal to 3,188.35. This is our P. This is the principal. Let us put our dollar sign, and this is our final answer.